So come on in. Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guess is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Oh.
Wrong button. I'm sorry. Whoops.
Like, that was crazy. I loved it.
Oh, I didn't
Well,
expect
hello.
that. Yes.
I think something is it on?
It's not anymore. You're good. This is
Okay.
This is what your voice actually sounds
Okay,
like.
perfect. Okay.
But
Wait.
did you see how I was like, what? I'm sorry. Here's
No,
what-
it's okay. I wish the camera was rolling when that happened too, though. That was
Did
crazy.
you see my face? My face went to like, what is she doing? That was what I instantly thought right away. I was like, this is, and then I realized, oh, I pressed the wrong button. I pressed the purple button. I was supposed to press
no, it's
that
okay.
button right there, which is a completely different button to press.
Yeah. That's okay. Well, hello. Good morning.
I wish I knew what my face looked like. I would have also wished
That's why
that
I
was
said
on
I wish
camera.
the camera was rolling.
Man alive.
So whoever heard that was awesome.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, yeah, how's it going? Happy Thursday.
Hello.
Hello.
I think that's how you started this. Yeah, no, it's
Hello.
no, yes, happy Thursday to you as well, and I'm super excited to get this started. We're broadcasting right now out of Thrive's podcast room in Troy, Michigan.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I don't know. I think I forgot to call our office manager to let her know that we weren't going to be in that podcast room today. I'm just remembering.
Oh.
If she watched the show live, she would know. So I'm going to just go ahead and put that on her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
So that's what's
fine.
going on. But yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited to be here at the Thrive office. It's a really awesome podcast studio, and everybody here is so nice. We love it here.
It's good feels. Robert Courtney just walked into the building, walked past us too, so it's fun to see.
The infamous Robert Courtney.
Who, by the way, put us on Fox News
We're
the
on
other
Fox
day,
News.
which is great. So new.
Summer and Johnny is seen on
Shout out
Fox
there.
2 News.
Yep, gonna blast that all over the place. And as you should.
Yeah.
I knew a guy, and I thought this was interesting. This was his job. He would go and he had this in with all these different like news outlets, like Fox News, and I don't know. That's about the only one I remember. But what he would do is he had this back in where he would write. This is brilliant. You go to these websites, and back in the day, it was really super important too. And you'd see, as seen on Fox News and CNN and Google and all this other stuff. I guess everybody's seen on Google, but you know what I mean? Have you ever gone to a website and you saw all that garbage at the bottom?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this person must be real.
Right. So we can advertise that
We can.
as Summer and Johnny.
Yes.
Thrive Realty.
Yes.
And doing the podcast as seen on Fox 2.
As seen on Fox News. Yeah. I thought it was interesting because this was years ago, and his job was to he would charge you, and he would put you on one of those shows or news programs just so that you could put a logo on your website. And how he was doing it was brilliant. There is this like editorial section of all of these websites that allows you to basically kind of submit these articles. Mm-hmm. And if you submit an article to their website, now all of a sudden you've been on foxnews.com, right? And then you would be able to put this little logo or supposedly stick this little logo on your website. And it's all, the thing about all this that's really interesting. And there's a couple things that are interesting about the perceived. And there's so much smoke in, I think, every industry, especially in the real estate industry, mortgage industry. There is just so much it's like these people that put the logo on the bottom. Not that we're not going to be one of them, Summer. We're going to totally say we're on Fox News. Yeah, that's happening.
100%. Yeah.
But that being said, I was listening to a podcast the other day. Mm-hmm. I thought this was really crazy. So there was and I'm not going to name anybody because I don't know if any lawsuits are going on right now, and I don't want us to be part of one. So I'm not going to actually name the company and stuff.
Smart thing.
Yeah, but there's this lady that has been known in the MLM industry as the number one network marketer in the world, and there's a show that I like called The Dream. I'll shout that one out. And as somebody that loves MLMs, I love hearing their opinion on MLMs and businesses that from a complete skeptic who hates them and is completely against them's point of view. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting because here's this news reporter who constantly puts down like the Robert Courtneys of the world, or the people that are the gurus. We call them gurus. They don't really like that themselves, but they
social media influencers.
No, like the people that are into positive coaching and coaching as a whole.
Yeah.
What's really interesting,
coaching, teaching.
Yeah. Learning how to take you and make you the best you can be.
Right.
She's a complete pessimist, and so she's running this entire 3-series podcast from a pessimistic point of view, which is funny because during it, she ends up getting a coach. Now, she's completely against them. But even she herself ends up going out and getting a coach just for the actual, to discover and see what it's all about.
Yeah, to see if she could, debunk it, maybe?
Yeah, just to see. But by the end of the 3rd season, she's on with her coach, and she's saying that in the last 6 months that she's done this, she does know that the coach made a difference. So it's very interesting to see. However, I will say that this lady, this bigger lady, they did this whole thing about her and about how she's very aggressive, and she made these people do this really long hike, and she purposely made them take a hike that was so long that people weren't prepared and didn't know. And she was it was to filter out weak people, and the way that she talked about people and the way that she, it's one of the things I think that rubs people wrong when it comes to multi-level marketing. And oh, by the way, almost everything is like an MLM structure, at least, and we're going to dive into this a lot later when I'm talking a little bit more about my actual notes here. But if you think about, for instance, real estate, look at real estate. You have a broker, right? And then underneath the broker, you have some, depending on the way that's structured, you have managers, right? Team leaders, people that are in that position.
Right.
Then under them, you have the agents.
Yep.
And then if the agents break off, now all of a sudden they've got showing agents and buying agents. So when a sale happens, all that money flows back up. What is that? Everything's a pyramid.
Yeah.
Everything is. It's crazy. If you go to Walmart, okay, you have Sam Walton's family.
Yeah.
That hired a bunch of national managers that have regional managers that have local managers that have cashiers.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Now, I think what gives it a bad term and what people really hate is the people like this that are super aggressive. And I think we know in our industry, we've rubbed shoulders with people where I think it becomes an issue when it's not about the person anymore. It's selfish. It's about me.
Correct.
I think that's where the issue rubs people wrong.
Yeah, and the people underneath you, they'll sense that and
Eventually.
feel that as well, like the cashiers, and they'll quit
Yeah,
or they'll leave
yeah.
if that's what's going on. And I think that is the exact reason why there's literally no way you could be that like that in your business and have a successful long-term business.
Unless you've there is a caveat to that, unless you have put somebody in place that can deter that away.
Yeah, but if your mindset is, constantly that I'm just better than these people, like they're underneath me.
See, that's
but
eternal.
I am better than them, and that's the thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what these people will sense, in their leader or their
Hopefully.
mentor.
I think
they will. Maybe.
Well, you got to. So, again, I look at this lady, and I think some people gravitate toward it. To be honest, I think that there's a. I don't want to say a crappy type of people, but I think there's a certain type of people that like watching somebody aggressively not take advantage of somebody for their own advantage, and then look down on people, and then they kind of respect that because they want to be that way.
Yeah.
How else do these people grow so big?
Well,
Because I know people like this, and again, I'm thinking about this MLM lady. I mean, to be
it's
number
inevitable
one.
that there will always be, people like that. I truly believe that eventually everybody ends up changing their ways, and maybe like these people who work underneath them, they sense it, they feel it, but they're not leaving. But like I said, I truly believe if something's better for you, people will eventually, it just depends on how long you wait.
Well, see, I think the other thing that happens too, and this happens in psychology, is people you can get bitter or better. If you are like, no, this person loves, and again, I'm just thinking back to MLM days, like, no, this person's in it and they're trying to help me and they're just this, and you've believed that for so long, and then you have been told that it was wrong, and now there's like think about people that were like, OJ definitely didn't do it. That's a horrible example, but OJ wrote a book how he did it, right?
Yeah.
But like, think about there's things that people will get involved in, and it's wrong, but they have to either face the fact that they were wrong, or they have to change. They either have to admit it or they have to double down. And most of the time, people will double down, because admitting that you were wrong about something and just coming out and being like, I shouldn't have done that.
It's tough for some people to do that, for sure.
For most people, I think, because of pride. Pride gets in the way. And so
Ego,
we just
pride.
don't do it. Yeah. So I think they'll just
You
end
think
up
you're
leaving.
better than that.
Yeah.
But, sometimes like, I mean, even I'm sure you and me, we're human just as everybody else. And
Wait. You're human?
but you have to humble yourself sometimes when you kind of catch yourself going down, or your mindset going down that route.
Yeah.
Humble yourself a second and say, wait, what makes me better than you? Or
Right. Yeah.
why should I always be the one who's right and
Yeah.
you never get to be right? Like,
Yeah. Even if the other person's always wrong.
exactly. Even if they are wrong all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
just let them have their moment.
They're wrong. You're right.
Humble yourself. Even if you're faking it, they say fake it till you make it. So
Yeah. I've never, I'm going to come out, we're going to do a show one day of all the sayings that I hear that I'm like, come on,
that you don't agree with.
Well, fake it till you make it's one of them. And it is what it is. I think that's another one. Mama Hoo Hoo, right? Fake it till you make it. That means horse, tiger, tiger.
yeah,
Wee,
that's crazy. Okay,
You okay?
I do. I remember.
So fake it till you make it. You're still faking it, right? Mm-hmm. I've always
Until
always
you
had a
like
thing.
make it. So it's like,
Yeah, but you were still fake that entire time. Why even put fake into your vocabulary?
I don't know.
Why
but
not just believe it until you achieve it?
I've used believe it till you achieve
There
it.
you
I
go.
think that's a better one for sure.
Yeah. And I get, listen,
like smaller things in life, like when you're a teenager, you start a new job, right?
Yeah.
And you're so nervous about going in there. It's like, just go in there and act like you've done this a bunch of times, and and eventually you will learn and you'll get better, and that you faked it till you made it. That's what I think of personally.
Yeah.
Like, I think big life things, like if you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
don't fake it till you make it. Like,
No.
It's not.
No.
I don't think that's a good example. No, like
no.
a relationship.
Yeah.
No, or
I think if you enter into a job, you're in a relationship.
or maybe
anyway.
like your passion, like your career that you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
If you're so passionate, you probably shouldn't have to fake it, right? But so
Yeah.
it wouldn't go right there.
I think it's the word fake. And I think that a lot of people have done this. And I think that they've taken the advice. This is the real estate agents that you see that like will fly Spirit. Nothing wrong with Spirit, my favorite airline, by the way. But they'll fly Spirit for $39 down to Florida, sneak onto a dock somewhere, take a picture real quick on a yacht, and then get kicked off the yacht, and then fly all the way back and post a picture of them out on a yacht.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I just got to keep faking that I have one until I actually do. So this is all fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's a bit extreme.
Yeah,
For sure.
It's not just because you don't want to erase your yacht photos.
I'm gonna leave my yacht. No, I'm just kidding. I've never been on a yacht
No.
yet.
Yeah,
I will one day.
One day,
eventually,
yeah. Why not?
We'll go on one.
Why yacht?
Why? Yeah,
That was lame.
that was good.
Have you ever been involved in multi-level marketing before?
Like,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
like MLM. You know what I mean when I say MLM?
No, I have not.
Like Amway or Mary
No,
Kay?
I almost got sucked into one though.
Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh.
We've never had this
It was,
conversation.
yeah, it was crazy. It was before I even started real estate. So like 2020.
Yeah.
I think right before COVID or something, right? So I was a waitress. I was waitressing and I had this table and it was this couple and it's very easy for me. I loved like going to different tables all the time because like you meet new people and I always had good conversations with these people. So I was talking to this one couple and they were so vague about what they had going on, right?
Yeah.
But they were like asking me questions. I was like, 20 years old, maybe 21. And, I hadn't started real estate. I was kind of just, floating, trying to figure out what do I want to do? Like, what's my next move? And they had a conversation with me about that.
Yeah.
And it was just so interesting because like I was a bit naive and like I was just like saying I was a yes girl at that time. Like everything they were saying, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. And I realize now they worked me good.
Did they?
But yeah, because they didn't even tell me what was going, like I was just so confused, but they were like, let's start you off and like give us a call later. So I give them a call and they're like, let's Zoom. And then they're having this conversation with me about business and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And it all sounded so good. And I was like, yeah, like that's what I want to do. That's a good idea. Cool. Like, cool that I met you guys. And then they tell me to read this book.
What was the book?
Where's the cheese? Where's my cheese?
Who
Great
Moved
book.
My Cheese?
Yeah, it's a good book for sure. So I
Did
read
you
the
read
book.
it?
I did.
Who Moved My Cheese is a fantastic book.
Yeah, I read the book. And I don't know. I ended up ghosting them because I was like,
This book sucks.
no, I put two and two together a little bit. I was like, what even is going on? And then like, it was a great book. That was something good I got out of it though. So I'll say that much.
I think that's one of the things that is interesting.
It was a pyramid. It was one of those Amway. It was something.
Do you even know what it was?
No, they wouldn't even tell me. And I think they were like walking, like tiptoeing around it because they didn't want me to have every single fact because I would have walked away faster.
Yeah. Why would that have been, by the way? Just curious.
Well, truthfully, I was a bit, ignorant on the topic. I didn't really understand. Like I knew Amway. I remember like, when I was younger, my mom doing something with makeup.
Amway. Okay. That was Mary Kay or
selling
Amway?
like Avon or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remembered that. And I didn't totally understand it till I had a few family members come to me and I went to them and I was like, what are these people doing? And they explained to me what, the whole pyramid thing. And I'm like, Amway. And like, they told me what Amway was. I didn't really know.
Yeah.
So I instantly was like, I did my own research.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no.
Okay.
So I didn't just ghost them. I definitely got more information as much as I could like get on my own. Google.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah.
And then ghosted them.
So I'm very curious to this because I love MLMs.
Yeah.
I'm going to preface this with I love MLMs.
Yeah.
Amway and I think it's interesting.
I just felt used. I feel like.
Why is that?
Because first of all,
because
they
weren't
wouldn't
being
even be honest with me.
That's the problem.
That was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
I was so confused for most of the time. But at the same time, I didn't want them to know how confused I was. So I wanted to play it cool. I don't know why. I should have asked more.
So you felt almost deceived. Let me ask you.
I felt deceived.
So let me ask you this: if they would have come at you with a completely different, like if they would have just been, "Hey, listen, we sell really expensive soap, but we do that so because the model that we have, if we sell really expensive soap, everybody's got to make a penny off of it. So that's why our soap is $79 instead of $1.99. Would that have been a better approach?
Yeah, I actually think that would have been a better approach because then I would have known what is going on.
Yeah.
Then I could actually decide,
would you have still
do
read
I
the
want
book?
to do this or do I not want to do this? Yeah, I did. I would have still read the book because these people, I was interested. Like I felt like I liked talking to them. I felt like they were smart, like all those things. And I gave them like a little piece of like, I'll sit down and I'll Zoom with you or whatever, because they gave me a great first impression. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would have still read the book. I like to read books anyway. I feel like that that was probably the best thing I got out of the whole situation.
Which is good. The one thing that's really interesting about the MLM universe, and I think one of the reasons why I've always been attracted to it, is because they really, if you're smart about it, it is about leadership development, because you have to get somebody likable. You have to get them to understand how people work. You got to get them to understand how to work themselves.
And that's what bothered me the most, was I felt worked, because like they could have came if it was just the lying part or like the deceiving part, because they didn't lie.
Oh, it's the omission is what it was.
The omission.
Yeah. I would have loved it. What was their names? Let's shout them out right now.
I don't even remember.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to shout. This is I'm going to shout out to Ishbu. I haven't talked to him in 20 years, so Ishbu, if you happen to watch or follow me on social media still, reach out. Ishbu, Anthony Smith, good dude. And I'll never forget this. He was awesome. Anytime anybody wanted to come to him, because, when you've got a certain personality type, I have literally been pitched, I think, every MLM that you could possibly think of under the sun.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this guy, right? Like, if I get somebody excited about something, I suckered you into a podcast, but if I get excited about something and I really believe in it, I'm super excited and I believe in it. And people feel that.
Yeah.
And if you can transfer feeling, you can move people, right? And MLM people, they see that and they're like, dude, if I had this guy on my team, all my problems in the world would be solved.
But they can't pitch you.
So they all pitch me. But it's funny
but it
because
doesn't land.
And again, I learned this from Ishbu. Anytime you would take him out, he would make, because MLM people are really funny. If you're out there, no offense, but learn from this. And by the way, this is going to wrap into real estate. I promise. MLM people are really funny because they want to hide everything that they're doing. You're 100% right. They're like, hey, do you like life? What if you could love life? Right? Read this book. I'm not telling you what it's about or what we do or anything like that, but I know is,
book. It's a great book too.
I'll change your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it'll change your life.
Right.
You're right. And I think I don't agree with that type of what is it? It's sales, right?
So what it really is recruiting, and they don't understand that.
Yeah.
So they set you, usually they'll meet you at a restaurant, coffee shop. I can't tell you how many coffee shop I've been to, and then they always want to sit in the corner, right? And I think maybe you've seen me do this before. They always like to sit in the back corner where nobody's around them and nobody can hear or see them, because they want to draw this plan out and they want to show this to you, but they don't want people to see that they're doing it. And I learned this from Ishbu. Make them sit in the middle of the busiest section and make it awkward. Ishbu taught me this, and I love this. And I'll love this guy forever. This is something he taught me as kids. I learned this. I got involved with Amway back when they turned into Quickstar. Long story short, I had a friend of mine back then whose dad owned one of the world's largest doll companies, right? And it was back when porcelain dolls were this huge deal. They sold them at Disney World. It was a big thing. But then something crazy happened. People, my generation under, porcelain dolls, you've probably never even had a porcelain doll, have you?
Oh my God. They're
you
so
have porcelain
scary.
dolls?
No.
Okay, good. All right, there you go.
No, my grandma did.
Yeah, your grandma did, right?
Oh my God.
I did.
Even when they get all mangy and broken.
Yeah.
Why do people keep them?
Yeah.
Those things
They
look
don't.
scary now.
Yeah. So
People don't anymore, though. You're right.
yeah, nobody does porcelain dolls. There, I don't know anybody that's like a porcelain doll. Yeah,
It's a collectible at this point, I believe.
So his dad owned this large company, and sales are going down. So he has this idea. Well, Amway is doing excellent. They're just about ready to launch Quickstar, which is an online version of multi-level marketing. What if we join that, and then I'll just copy what they're doing and turn it into doll sales? So I can do multi-level marketing with doll sales, because the genius behind multi-level marketing really is that if you have enough people promoting a product, you don't have to pay any middlemen to promote the product. You don't have to pay advertisers. You don't have to pay, and you get a bunch of social media influencers out there promoting your product. All of a sudden, it's out there, right? So he gets involved with this. So I get pitched because I'm me. So I get pitched. I'm 17 at the time. I get pitched to join Amway, turning into Quickstar. All right. And it was funny because you had to have a credit card. My mom's like, nobody's going to put their credit card online. I'm not giving you a credit card to start this up. I had to wait till I was 18. So I had 6 months I had to wait. And by that time, he was full in on this whole Amway side of things. So I got a chance to first see my first MLM. And I joined it. All right. I will tell you that the one thing that's really interesting is a lot of these people, they think it's sales. What they don't realize is that it's recruiting. And there's nothing wrong with the Amway model if you understand and you present it and promote it in the right way. There's a lot of people that are making honest money in Amway. There's a lot more people that are making dishonest money, though, right? Because again, if I came to you and just said, listen, let's just lay the facts out on the table. The stuff's super expensive, right? Because everybody needs to make a check. It is what it is, but you also learn leadership principles throughout it, right? So your $9 bar of soap, you might be able to get that for free. You might be able to make a couple $100. There's still people to this day in every single. In fact, the other day I saw a pink Cadillac driving down the road, Escalade. That's Mary Kay. I already knew who that was. Or not, I don't know who it was, but I already knew what it was because Mary Kay, when I worked at GM, they have their special paint color that they pay car companies to have because people do make it, right?
Yeah.
But hiding in the corner, and the problem.
I bet there's a huge percentage of people who don't make it though.
It's in every industry.
Well, for sure, but I just wonder what that percentage.
It's
would be.
less than 1%. It's just
because I think real estate. What is it? It's 9.
It's the same.
It's 3%, right?
It's the same. It's in any industry. The amount of people that have made that ultimate quote unquote what you would consider success.
Yeah.
It's under 5%. Usually it's in the top 1 to 2, 3.
Yeah, because there's
no different.
so many. Yeah, there's so many people that join and are like, I think they're like, oh wow, easy way to make money.
See,
I don't have to do much work.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not quoted like that.
Right.
The person I'll tell you what, and this is one thing that's interesting, and I've told people about this before. You could take somebody that's super successful. I have buddies that are very successful in multi-level marketing. I've tried to get them into real estate because I believe, because here's the truth, and this will be actually a topic that we hit. They're making it in multi-level marketing because they're still putting 72 to 120 hours in a week. The people that make it really big in real estate, think about this. How many hours are they working? In the very beginning to get it before they have leverage, how many hours is that realtor working? 90 to 120 hours? You watch a person that went from 0 to $20 million their first year in real estate. You look at the Jeff Glovers that did that and they worked their butts off to get to where they're at. They were working 12 to 14 to 16 hours a day to get that launched. If he put that same effort into Amway, he would have been successful in Amway. If the Amway guy would put the same effort into real estate, he'd be more successful in real
I
estate.
seriously hate Amway.
Why? Don't hate Amway.
I just really dislike them.
But that's because of how it was presented.
I'm not on board with them at all. But
well, that's fine.
I
You don't have to
understand
be.
the recruitment, and I do understand like what you're saying as well. And I'm sure not everybody's the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a way, like, instead of coming off so salesy, just
But that's not.
put it
But
is
that's
for
not
what it
Amway's
is.
fault.
No, I know.
That's
but
like somebody that dealt with. I'm not going to name the company, but that's like somebody that dealt with a real estate company before, and the real estate company was really crappy. And then they're like, I hate all real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think like even a real estate agent, you're not going to sit here with a brand new client. I mean, I don't know if you are. I don't think you're allowed, whatever. But, you're a brand new agent. You're sitting down with this client, and the question comes up that every new agent is scared of is, what's your experience?
Yeah.
And say you have no experience. So
Yeah.
you can either say, well, between me and my office, there's 30 plus years, or you could lie, which I think is it the Amway way or something, and say,
no, the Amway would be
and
but
say,
it's not
I've closed 5 deals this month, and that's just that. At that point, that's a lie, or
So real quick, just because I already know the script. First off, that's not the Amway way. You got to remember, you're talking about just a product company. Amway makes products. That's like saying, Walmart. It doesn't matter. What it was is it's the team and the person that contacted you, and it's how they train. Just like in our business. Look, there's some great Remax teams out there that are top notch. Most of them are. I've met a lot of good Remax guys. They're cool, right? However, there's a couple people out there that are super shady, and everything that they do and the people that they contact. I was brought into a real estate company that promised me in writing, by the way, that I would make $100,000 my first year. This was when the market crashed, by the way, and they didn't really have a system or any training in place. They brought me over, right? So that's not the Amway way. They're a supplier, right? That is just how that person chose. And you're right. If we were to do this in real estate, and the person said, "How many years do you have of experience?" The answer is, read this buyer's guide on how to buy a home.
That is the worst question for brand new.
By the way, I can already tell you the MLM response to that is somebody always asks, well, how much money are you making? Mm-hmm. The response is always, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. That is a trained response that they tell people.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, because you don't know if it's too much or too little.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. See, and I agree with you. I think that stuff is the type of stuff that gives it a bad name. Now, again, I want to hit all sides of it just to be fair. And
yeah, no, I definitely, like I said, though, I see your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's not my side. It's just facts.
I'm understanding what you're saying.
So we get reading what I'm laying down? Good.
Okay.
But I'm not promoting Amway. I don't think that they have anything that I'll just put this out there. Soap shouldn't be $9. And I think that you can find just a good product anywhere else.
For sure. Unless it's like, I buy these little car hangy smelly things. Oh my God, I love them.
From Amway?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's an Amway situation, but I know the girl.
Hilarious. Is it from Scentsy?
They're cute. No, I don't.
Are you talking about like the duck that you have?
Yeah, my duck is one of them.
Oh,
I buy different ones.
I don't think so. I'm a huge. By the way,
but it's
some of the stuff. I'm a huge fan of Scentsy, for instance. Do you know Scentsy?
No.
So Scentsy is a candle company. So a shout out to Scentsy. If I was going to recommend any company, I would recommend Scentsy. I don't think I can do it. It's funny because I've used Scentsy forever.
Okay.
But I don't think I can do Scentsy. I think it's a woman's only business. I've only ever seen women doing it.
Okay.
They've never bothered contacting me.
Why don't you try it out? We'll see.
Well, here's why. Because I don't have an interest in doing a sales.
Yeah.
And
I don't either.
Here's why real estate.
I mean, maybe one day for fun as a hobby.
Here's the thing, though. And again, this is why MLMs ultimately fail, because the product is they pretend a lot of these, like Scentsy, for instance. Scentsy's great, but as a consumer, I'm cool with it. If I was to be a distributor, and this is how most of them work, in order for you to make money, you have to have a certain amount of sales. So what a lot of these companies will end up doing, and a lot of people that work for these companies, or a lot of people that do the MLMs with them, what will end up happening.
Shane said he's saying hello.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Shane, there he is.
Hi, Shane.
This is that's actually really crazy that he just popped in to say hello. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, I will have to. She says, "Sorry, Shane.
Well, he asked me to put me on the spot.
Sorry.
So.
Yeah, she goes, read this book." But wait, not to lie. Yeah, Shane is an amazing. He's an awesome content creator on TikTok. He's really huge. He's Ted Nugent's nephew. I always want to give that shout out. He loves it when I do that.
Oh my gosh.
He's played he's an awesome person.
I know Shane.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
I do know
I know
Shane.
You know him. Yeah.
Sorry, it had to be the Ted Nugent.
That's
He said
my
he's
fault.
gonna reveal
I'm
it.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, so I think the thing is, like, again, as a consumer, I will support things that make sense, right? But I'm, as a consumer, I want to be as a consumer. I think the bad practices to most MLMs, and I haven't run across one that isn't, is that you have to have a certain amount of sales in order to qualify for any type of income, which means that they're buying thousands of dollars worth of product and just storing them in their garage somewhere and hoping to sell them just so that they can make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's
However,
a problem for sure.
what if there was a business where you could put people in by levels and it was a product that everybody needed? You didn't have to front load anything, and it's a proven track record that everyone makes money.
Oh, like a real estate?
Whoa, there it is.
A real estate. Yeah.
That actually is
Well-
what got me interested in real estate in the first place. When Keller Williams came out showed their model, I said, holy crap, this is it. All these MLM guys that have been looking for an MLM to go to forever, because again, the structure, the leadership, all that stuff, all these MLM people, this is like, there's a couple of them.
It's the same concept.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, for sure. You got your broker, and then your broker, an agent,
just like I said,
signs an agent under them. That agent then brings in a whole team. The whole team, then is underneath ultimately the broker as well.
Even if you do it at just the basic, right? Like I said, any model out there that you do it, if you're a broker, you automatically have that going. But then when you got the Keller Williams that came out and they actually had this team support structure, and then the EXPs broke off of that and said, we're going to take full advantage of this and turn this into a full-scale MLM style. And then the Epics came out and said, well, we're gonna do it the same way and model it.
I think there's other brokerages as well. Was
Real maybe?
Real.
Yeah.
Real was one. And I noticed, is it only like I didn't really know Keller Williams had that model. Is it
profit sharing?
Okay, is that the only like non-cloud brokerage, I would guess, that has that model?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are switching. See, the thing is a lot of people switch. When something popular comes out, all of a sudden everybody starts switching to it or trying to figure out how to incorporate it.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's what game changers are all about, right?
Yes.
When Amazon started selling stuff online, the first thing Walmart said is, how can we get things to people in 2 days too? How can we go into that space and compete? Which is fine. So anyway, I think so that's kind of, that's in a roundabout way. That's kind of what is that's the journey anyway of the whole MLM thing. Okay. I don't hate the game. You got to hate the players.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that same thing.
I just don't pay attention to
that's which is fine.
I don't hate anybody.
Yeah.
I just don't pay attention to them. But if they have something nice, I'm not going to lie, I might buy it.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Some of these companies are really smart because they make it so that like you can only buy their stuff exclusively through them, and it is a high quality product that you can't.
Yeah, but sometimes you even might see it, or maybe someone's advertising it, and then you're like, "Huh, I wonder if they got that on Amazon."
Yeah, and then you look. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm one of those people all the time. I'll double check Amazon before I buy it somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think that leads up to kind of like, oh man,
I know.
How did you got
we
us
had a
so
40-minute talk about Amway.
But again, I just want to put this out there. I'm neither for nor against Amway.
We know.
I do. However,
love Amway.
I know I do not love Amway.
Join Amway.
I do not think that. I'm not saying that at all. I think $9 for a bar of soap is ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. There's no reason for that.
You're right.
Right.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Soap should not cost that much.
No.
But if you like to recruit and stuff like that, that's what it is.
That's your jam.
So speaking of jams and kind of how this whole thing started.
Peanut butters and jellies.
Which, by the way, you can now buy for $5.78 in my online store. But if you know a guy that knows a guy and you want to be in business for yourself.
There it is. And then really, I'm the one cooking them in the kitchen or building them.
Cooking the peanut butter?
Yeah.
And jelly?
Yep.
That's how it makes. That's how
cooking it up. Johnny's selling it on his website, and if you want to join,
Summer sells peanut butter.
Summer sells.
I don't know.
Okay.
So what I wanted to discuss, and I think that I wanted to do this, and I was really excited about this episode. So now I'm going to have to floor this because this is the meat and potatoes of the thing. So I've been watching and consuming a lot of Robert Courtney, which is, and Gary V and all that other stuff. I have come, and I think we might have even talked about this, but I don't know if I've ever been this direct with you. I have come to a point in my life right now where I have an amazing opportunity. Now, some people would look and say it sucks, and I'll just be open with you. The last few years of my life, not been easy, right? For people that know my past, there's a lot of stuff out there about it. For people that don't, it's just been super hard, from having a family taken away and getting them back, and courts and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That has had a huge impact, not only in my life, my mental stability, what I've been able to do and handle. And in the last 2 years, I have been in complete survive mode. And this year, at the beginning of the year, the first thing I said is I need to go from just surviving. It's funny that we're in an office called Thrive, right? Because you hear the statement, go from survive, don't just survive, but thrive. Mm-hmm. But I said I need to start learning how to conquer now, right? I've lived the stuff, I've gone through it. Now it's in that rebuild phase. The other day, I asked ChatGPT this prompt. If you have been using ChatGPT for any amount of time, I've been a heavy user of it. I bought an email invite to ChatGPT just so that I could get into it from somebody off of eBay. So I've had it for a while, okay?
Okay.
If you've been using ChatGPT, I'm going to give you what could possibly be the most powerful prompt you could ever use in your life.
Okay.
And I'm going to warn you, it is scary, but it is also, if you can take this information, I'm going to personally share mine because I decided I was going to do it today during the show.
Okay.
To do what the Robert Courtneys of the world have been telling us to do forever, and to be actually vulnerable and open to people with where I'm at and where life is going.
Okay.
This prompt is nuts. Are you ready for this? I'm going to give you this prompt.
Yeah, I need a drink of water.
Yeah, you look like you're getting tense off of this. All right, here we go. This is. Are you ready? Oh, this is crazy. If you've been using ChatGPT for any point in time, and you want a look at yourself, because ChatGPT can read this. Listen to what this says. Here's the prompt. If I keep living the way that I am right now, what would my life look like in the next year, 5 years, and 10 years? Based on everything I've ever put in there, this is what ChatGPT came up with.
And if you use it, it kind of, chat. It gets to know you and understand.
Well, and it especially with all the stuff. I mean, I've done legal documents in here. I've done, you just hey, how do I?
So
make,
yours
how do I make,
is probably really legit.
But I think everybody's. If you've used it, if you're a heavy user at all, even just how you type, did you know that you can have it analyze the way that you type things out, and it will, for instance, it picks out the fact that I have certain insecurities about how I phrase things, because I constantly ask it to help me rephrase something. Mm-hmm. But it's what it can do and what it can pick out is insane.
Okay.
And this prompt right here was something.
So
I
what
put
did
in,
you get?
This is it right here. This is what it said. This is insane. It said, "Let's get real for a minute." Now I also have to say I have my ChatGPT trained to talk the way I want it to talk. Okay. So I have trained this to talk to me in a certain way. So that's how it does it. But it says, based on your current patterns of your current grinding, trying to build your brand, juggling different products, your ADHD chaos, the big dreams that you have, and the unmistakable Johnny Awesome energy, here's the 3 phases of a year, 5 years, and 10 years if no major changes happen in your life. So if you keep on doing what you're doing right now, 1 year from now, I will still be stuck in survival hustle. Now, it gives me good and bad, which is nice because it knows that I need a little pampering before it spanks me. Like ChatGPT knows me really well. So it gives me the build up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm awesome. And then it's like, right? So here's what it says. It says, you have built some serious mental toughness from grinding out and juggling projects. Open House, the podcast, may start to get some traction. You will start a small and loyal audience. You might have launched merch or even landed a few sponsorship deals. You'll have strong content ideas and half-built systems. I'm not going to name this now because I'll be talking about that later. And you will probably have created some AI-driven funnels, which is all true stuff I'm looking at doing right now, right? You've made your name for yourself, but only in a few circles. And you've done the whole thing in hustle mode. All right?
Hustle mode is real.
It's real, but it's not good. It's not good all the time anyway.
It feels like hustle mode feels like survival mode.
Survival and hustle. So here's one of my favorite quotes of all time is, it's not enough to be busy, so too are the ants. It's what are you busy doing and are you getting any further? And right now I'm not. Like, it nailed me. Here's what it says. This is where it really strikes me. And again, just to keep out, it says you'll still be living week to week, possibly doing even more than you are now just to keep afloat. And to be honest, with what I'm doing right now and the hours that I'm putting in, doing side hustles and trying to just make ends meet, I'm already burning out. Mm-hmm. So when I read that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I won't have any consistent passive income. I will feel frustrated, overwhelmed, underpaid, and even wondering why success is always out of my reach. Already starting to have those feelings, just being completely honest. Fatigue will set in, both physically and emotionally, and you'll crash. And without structure, your ADHD will sabotage all follow through. That's a year from now. And when I read that, I already was like, all right, we're changing things. And I'm going to go through exactly how I did that and why this is important and why this is a pivotal episode of our podcast, because this is a relaunch for me.
Okay.
So 5 years from now, I have a choice. Based on this year, I have two paths that can emerge. Depending on either if I stay stuck and stay the way that I am, living default mode, which we talk about, or if I decide to make changes. And I can either be a burned out genius or an empire builder. And I love this. If nothing changes, I'll have been exhausted, pouring everything into projects, and nothing would have truly scaled. I would still be trading time for money, probably with a couple fancier things, but have more stress. The brand might have a following, but monetization is inconsistent. I would have tried multiple reinventions, each one failing, short due to a lack of system and support. And I would feel the weight of untapped potential because I'm a visionary without an engine. However, if I make a shift now, and the shift has to be clarity with systems, it tells me this. This is crazy. Then I've got an actual income producing brand. The team, in other words, real estate team that I'm wanting to build, is not only a lead generating machine, but I'm making consistent income per month. Open House, the podcast, is known and respected. And I'm mentoring others, coaching agents, speaking at events, and best of all, I've bought back my time, and I'm finally working on my business. 10 years from now, I'd be dead. That's its prediction.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. If nothing changes, 10 years from now, the amount of stress, it knows that I'm having heart issues right now. I know we've talked about that offline a little bit, but again, I'm just trying to be blatantly out there. The amount of stress that I've put myself under, I'd probably be dead in 10 years is what this is telling me, which is crazy. So it gives me this at the end, which I think is this is nuts. It says you are one major decision away from flipping this whole script. The tools are there, the ideas are there, the talent isn't even in question. The only gap is consistency, delegation, and clarity. And then it asked me this question. Do you want me to help build you a course correct right now?
That's crazy. That's wild. So, Johnny, my question after all of that, though, is going to definitely be, what's the big decision that's holding you back?
So it's not the big. So the big decision is not one small, hey, do this, that, or the other thing. The decision is the decision to move. There's a great story that I love telling people. It's about the dog on the thumbtack. And I might have told you this before. I don't think I've ever told them before. But this old Bible salesman, he's walking around, he's selling Bibles door to door. He's walking up to this country house, long driveway, farmer's sitting out on the porch. He's rocking back and forth in his chair. There's this old dog sitting next to him that's just howling. Ooh. Right? It's a dog howl.
Please don't ever howl again.
Okay, well, then you're going to have to howl because there's 4 more howls in the story, okay?
Oh.
Good, perfect. That's it. Nailed it. So when
I looked over at you and you were just howling, no, that was crazy. Anyway, keep going.
I was really into it. This is the whole point of the story is just so I can howl.
I was trying to be cool, but
serious moment.
Crazy.
Summer's you're gonna die. Your heart's gonna explode.
All right.
So he walks up to the farmers, rocking back and forth. Right, the dog's howling. All right, you're not gonna do it. That's it.
I'm not gonna do it. I want you to do it.
Now you got me self-conscious about my howling. Oh. Dang it, Summer. I'm not going to be able to make I'm just going to say, you know what? The dog howled. You can assume whatever that is in your head. Whatever a dog sounds like. Some dogs, that's their howl, right?
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. So he's trying to sell this Bible to this farmer, right? Mm-hmm. And every time he speaks, this dog starts howling. Yep. And finally, he just gives up and he says, "Sir, I've been sitting here now for 15 minutes trying to sell this Bible to you, and this dog just will not stop. What is wrong with your dog?"
Yeah.
And the farmer looks at him and he says, "You know, the dog sat on a tack." And the salesman said, "Well, why doesn't it move?" And the farmer said, "Well, it's just uncomfortable enough to whine,
Oh.
but it's not uncomfortable enough to move."
Oh. What the heck? Yeah.
But how often do we do that in life?
Oh my goodness.
And sometimes we need somebody to come along. In this case, it was just the right moment. Like, my license is hung right now. I instantly was like, where am I going to go and what's this going to look like? Mm-hmm. The answer to your question is, what is that one decision? That one decision is it's time to get off the tack.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah.
Get off that damn tack.
There it is.
There it is.
And then what does that look like? And that's a great question.
Yeah. So, and you are correct though. I love that story. I like the tack because it isn't just one big thing, but you have a bunch of little things. And we've talked about this on the show that anytime, a big decision comes, it doesn't just happen. It's the little things and the work that you put in that lead to this bigger picture. And it might even be bigger and better than you imagine it to be now, but so what are a couple little steps that you think you'll be starting?
Yeah, so here's the first thing you got to do. Mm-hmm. And this is why I love what we're doing. So number one, I'm going to start actually showing all of this online. I'm going to start just streaming, throwing content up, and because one of the things that I've told everybody, been telling agents this for 13 years. You're brand new to the business. You know what you should do? You should turn the camera on, humble yourself, say, "Hey guys, I'm brand new, and this is me building my business." Mm-hmm. And you know why most people don't do that? Because they're afraid that they're going to fall flat on their face and completely fail. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why people don't do it. And they're afraid of what people are going to think, or they have some status. I'm just going to be blatantly honest. The first thing I thought of is my last partner, my business. As soon as I put myself out there and start telling people I'm building from the beginning again, I'm like, they're going to sit there and point and laugh.
Yeah.
The higher ups that we know and people that I've worked with before, they're going to be like, "Pfft," and they're going to laugh. And you know what? Things that I had to realize, and again, this last week I spent a lot of time getting my mind right because it is mindset. Mm-hmm. They are such a small, insignificant pool in a world that I have not reached yet.
Exactly.
That I cannot let them interrupt what I'm about to do.
Yeah. I feel like personally, because sometimes I can relate to that as well. But these people that you think of that you're like,
and you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if I put myself, if I, try to relate to you a little bit, these people that I look up to, I feel like, and then, a changes happen or whatever, and you put yourself out there and you're like, they're laughing at me.
Yeah.
Like, I get so angry sometimes. And I think that's one of my biggest downfalls is, kind of worrying about that. But at the same time, like when I kind of pull myself out of that mindset, I really think, why do I idolize this person so much?
Yeah,
or why do I put them in a position, where I kind of look up to them and stuff like that when this is how they make me feel, or I suspect that they're doing this actually, and they are actually, it's negative. It's not the positive light. And you have to, understand that and maybe see that a little bit and fix that.
Yep. Yeah.
Why am I doing that? Answer that question. And the answer most likely is going to be, I don't know why I'm doing that.
Yeah, you're just afraid for some reason.
I need to stop doing that. And that's the bottom line. And I understand though, and I think that's something that everybody can relate to in their own way, and different ways like that. Parents or bosses, or even just people, celebrities, people you see on TV.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that. How depressed celebrities are.
Yeah,
and I'll let you bring up your example because it's your example.
Who was my example again?
Good, Robin Williams.
Oh yeah,
so, you bring him up all the time.
Yeah, Robin Williams. He's a great example because everybody thought he was so happy, and
It's all portrayed.
he was so funny, he was so happy, he was
Everybody
so
loved him.
sweet, kind, but he had some really dark things
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
in his life that he just didn't portray, but nobody could ever even imagine he would
Yeah.
be that dark or have
Right.
those feelings. And that's the thing is, like, sometimes everything isn't the way that you think it is. And sometimes you need to, like, step out and understand from a different level. And most of the time it's, I guess, for sure, like, it is helpful if you have a coach or,
Somebody
a friend.
needs to push you a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone put you out of your comfort zone and make and challenge why
Yes.
you're feeling the way you're feeling.
So for me, I had to put myself in the mind, and I'm, again, just to be blatantly honest, like, it's a hard, doing this episode of this show is my catalyst, because now I have to do this because I put it out there.
I was gonna say, yeah. So
I've
our
waited
followers
a
and
week.
everyone is gonna be expecting,
Especially
these
you, because I know you're
posts.
going to repost this because you're the one that's cutting the videos up right now.
Oh, this will be clipped. This will 100% be clipped.
Now people are going to say, oh, he's either doing it or he's not going to do it. Now I've kind of forced myself into it because I was still letting fear hold me back. So, lesson, if that's happening, how can you get massive, like, how can you take leverage on yourself so that you actually do it? For me, it's social accountability. This show is live, it's recorded, it's out there. There's going to be clips of it. I'm probably going to get texts as soon as the day is done. People are going to send me messages.
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen, right? So the next step is this. So and then we got one fun game. So I guess follow along. Right now, what does this look like? I get an opportunity to show people, and this is the mindset I've been fighting with. Instead of constantly having the thought, because they're always in there. There's these guys in my head, and they're laughing and looking at their phones and watching me do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of letting them impact, think about the thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of agents that wish that they could do this, that can watch somebody that knows exactly what to do. Literally, I'm starting from ground zero, guys. I haven't sold real estate since 2014. My license has been held.
Here?
What's that?
What are you trying to say?
I'm exactly this. I'm starting showing that to hundreds of thousands of people that will appreciate it is a lot more important than the 2 or 3 guys that are going to make fun of me and everybody that laughs. What just happened?
I'm just confused. So
I'm confused.
Why do you think they're gonna laugh?
The 2 or 3 guys that laugh at me?
Yeah, what are they laughing about?
Well, it's in my head. I don't know that they really are. It's
Okay.
it's the fear that holds you up. You got these little guys.
Are you saying that you've signed up with a real estate company?
Not yet. No, you got to do step 1. So here's what I'm saying.
Okay, I think we're getting lost on what you're saying, or I got
Yeah,
lost.
no, it's okay. I'm restarting everything over, completely from start. So before you even sign up for a company, and this is where I'm at right now. This is step 1 to the plan. Number 1, you have to define what you actually want.
Yeah.
I tell this to agents.
Okay.
This is the crazy thing is I tell this to agents and they've already signed up with a real estate company. They're already sitting in real estate, or they've done this in a different career field, or they're a loan officer and they're already you've already done this a little bit backwards. Before you have even signed up in another company or with a group or with a team or with whatever, you need to ask yourself, what do you want out of life? What is your design for the next year?
Okay.
And that's the first step. That's what I have done. In the last 2 days, I went away. I wrote everything that I want for the next year. And the crazy thing is, to take my income here, it literally isn't going to take that much to move me up. And that's the one thing that's surprising. When you sit down and you say, all right, here's some things I need. Number 1, I've been looking at this a long time. I need to move. I need to move bad. I'm not in a good spot. I need to get out of there, right? I need to make sure that I can do father-son stuff with my boys and take them to Camp Barakel. That costs money. I want to make sure that I have a really good gym and pool membership. I want to make sure that I can attend 2 major events per year, like, motivating events. I want to make sure that I can buy at least $300 worth of new clothes every single month. That's really important to me.
Hi, Carol.
That's my mom who's
I
watching.
know.
There we go. Right? I want a motorized bike by next year because I like them. So I had to write all these things down. Mm-hmm. Now that I have this, right, what it's going to take to move, what it's going to take to get a new vehicle, what it's going to take to do all this, I have a monetary value to all this.
Yeah.
Now I need to reverse this, engineer all this and say, where is this coming from? Now I've reversed engineered this and I said, okay, cool. So I can launch my coaching, my database remanagement software and tools and stuff like that. I can do this. I can build a team. I can at least list all these down.
Yeah.
Out of all of these, what are the top 3 that are going to get me there this year?
Okay.
Now I've selected the top 3.
All right.
So I've done all this last week. Here's the point that I'm at today, right now.
Let us know.
Who in the real estate industry is going to support me in the exact way I need?
Yep.
I'm going to tell you a secret that coaches, when we coached, we danced around this. I'll be honest. The TLs that you're listening to, they dance around this, or they don't tell you, or there's a different perceived, or there's smoke all over.
Okay.
If you're going to be starting in real estate and you're a new realtor, you do not have enough people in your database today to make it well.
You need to be on a team.
You don't need to be on a team necessarily. You need somebody that's going to provide leads because you cannot afford, unless you have $100,000 sitting in your bank account, you cannot afford to buy the amount of leads that you need to filter through them so that you can get any type of real good income up and off the ground running right now.
Yeah.
If you look at all of the major producers that are out there, they're telling you go into your database. How many times have I've coached that go into your database? Now, I will tell you that I coach go into your database on the back end of what though, Summer? I always trained you guys on what first? How to handle leads.
Yeah.
How to handle lead source. When I worked for the mortgage company, we led with lead source first, handle these leads. These leads then turn into your database.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents out there and team leaders and people that are starting these teams, and they pretend like, yeah, just join us, and then they just leave you sitting out there. And they're closing deals down because they're part of Zillow or they're part of Realty.com or they're part of whatever, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's a team, if it's a brokerage, if it's an independent broker, or if it's one person.
Yeah.
Step 1, they need to provide me a certain amount of leads every single month.
Yeah.
Those leads, I know that I can convert them. I'm going to document I'm doing exactly what I'm going to do, exactly what I taught you how to do. I'm going to take leads in every single day.
Yeah.
I'm going to call them 10 days in a row. If I don't get a hold of them, I'm going to throw them in to a pond. Number 2, the team that I join, the broker that I join, the person that I join, whoever I join. And right now I'm interviewing a lot of different people. I'm looking for who's going to match me. I'm not just jumping into it, right?
I can I just say
Yeah.
I love your energy right
Good.
now.
I'm so serious. This is serious. You've never seen
I'm
serious,
feeling
Johnny.
it. I'm feeling it. Yeah, keep going.
I am looking for who can support me. The second thing they need to have is a system that can support me. They need to be able to have a system where I can put my leads into that's attached to a high-level AI software that will allow me to start converting these. Because
It's
when I
very
throw them
important.
into the pond, I want them to be able to go and be automatically cultivated by AI.
Correct. Yeah.
So they have to have the right systems. Because I need to hustle. Listen, I need to hustle today to make money for today because I got 4 boys and a crappy house that I need to pay, into.
It's
and
buckle down time.
all the right.
Yeah.
I can't wait 3 months for a check to come in. Right. So
Hell yeah.
because of that, if I have a showing that needs to happen today,
Yeah.
I have to make money for today. How am I doing both? I can't. And if I go and take that showing instead, guess what? Now I'm $250 away that I could have made during that showing. I'm $250 away from making the nut that I need in order to just survive. Because remember, I'm just barely surviving right now.
But that goes back into our time blocking situation.
Even if you're
everything else.
even if you're time blocking with what I got going on, even
And
with
real
time
estate
blocking.
is definitely, it can be on the spot. The client is here now, only can be here now, and
Yeah.
needs to see
So how
the
do I
house
fix that?
now.
So I asked the question. So the team, individual person I join, they have to have an agent that is ready to handle every deal that I hand them. That's it. They need to have somebody where I can say, this guy's ready to see this house. I need them to go out there. Now I'm building a system where it can't fail. So now I know I can prospect in between. I can drive. I can be on the phone. I can prospect. I can have leads coming in. I have a system that's
Dang.
taking everything.
Yeah.
And now I have an agent. Is it going to cost me? Yeah, it's going to cost me
It's
half
gonna
the
cost
income.
you,
I'm
yeah.
going to pay them half of my commission for the sale.
Yes.
But you know what? Half of something is better than nothing of nothing. Right.
0 of 0 is
Right.
0.
Right. And then what
50
I can
of
do,
whatever, it's
I could
better
start.
than nothing.
That's it. And then I could start buying my time back. Right. So that's a heavy lift. That's a heavy lift for some of these teams. I know teams that can offer this, and this is where I'm looking. So again, instead of being thrown into the situation and then doing I've put all this together. I'm a week out from making a decision. Right?
Congrats.
I'm a week out from making the decision. By the way, if I've been talking to you, you should probably get a hold of me within the next week. Okay. I haven't been talking to you, and I should have been talking to you, but I have been interviewing everybody.
All right, I'll clip this one. We'll caption it.
You better reach out. Meow.
Which brokerage will
The last thing
win?
is this. In order for me to feel like I am living my purpose every single day, I need to be able to serve agents or people every single day.
Because that's your passion.
That's who I am, and that's what I'm passionate about.
Yep.
So wherever I join, they need to have a spot where I can actually serve people while I'm there. Not talking about the buyers and sellers. Not that they aren't people. No. But I'm talking about those.
That's your inner teacher, your inner trainer, your inner coach. You're a helper.
Yes. I need to make sure that I'm in
Acts
a place.
Acts of service is your thing.
If I can't help move the needle in somebody's life, not just the house, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy as just being a realtor. I never have been. That's why I've never really done it.
A house is a big one.
It can be.
But there's so many other.
You're not counseling the person through it, and why couldn't you get here on time to this prospect today?
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
What I mean?
That is the difference. Yeah, but it's a different type of. I'm sure when because I've never coached anybody, but I've sat at closing tables, and I'm sure it's a kind of the same satisfaction when you see your first time home buyer, they're so excited. They just sign, they're just so giddy and happy. It's the greatest experience. The smiles are real. Nobody's upset. And it's probably the same when you are coaching, an agent and they land a deal and everything's working,
I think the best is
it's a good feeling of I'm so happy that I was a part of this process. I'm just so happy to be here right now. I'm happy for you,
Have we talked? Did I talk about last week? I don't want to talk about the same thing again. Did I talk about the movie Hustle last week?
Yes.
Okay. It's that exact thing, right? We can cut back to it. If you haven't seen Adam Sandler in Hustle, watch that movie. It's everything, right?
Yeah.
As long as I can have that impact, I don't care what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So,
all right. Did you say you have a game?
I did. We're gonna have to push it to next week, and that actually works because it's your birthday week.
Yeah. So next week is my birthday.
Yeah. So
exactly 1 week from today.
Next week, I'm gonna have an update, but I will also be posting every single day on social media, letting you know exactly what I'm doing.
So what are we gonna do for the podcast, John?
Oh, I got an idea. Number one. It actually this all kind of worked out really good.
I want to podcast on my birthday.
I want. Yeah, you want to, right?
I do.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Why not?
So for everybody watching,
we'll be here. We'll be live next week.
See you next week.
Who knows where, but we'll be there. I took you way out of whack. It's time to.
It's time to hit the lights, lock the door, pull the sign. We are ending Open House, the podcast.
Make sure you follow me at @TheJohnnyAwesome. And I'm going to be talking about launching the ADA agent tonight.
I'm so excited to watch for this.
Oh.
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe.
Wait, do it one more time.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
Peace.